You're listening to the ESO Network, your station for all things geek.
We are NerdLanta.
You are now listening to the NerdLanta podcast. Episodes are available on all podcast apps and on the ESO Network. Please visit us online at nerdlanta.com for more info.
Well, hello everybody. Welcome to NerdLanta. I'm Matthew English, producer extraordinaire. Chris, say hello to everybody.
Hello. How's it going, everybody?
It's great. It's glad to have you back on a mic.
Yes, it's been a while. I've just been enjoying having you and Julie mostly hosting, and but I'm glad to step in every once in a while and co-host, and here we are doing it, and I'm looking forward to this particular podcast, especially because we have some pretty great guests that we're going to be speaking with. You want to go ahead and announce who we all have on the show?
Absolutely. We have not one, not two, not three, but the whole gang from the Epic Briefs podcast. We've got Claudius Moore, Jamie Peters, Chris Evans, and Ryan Plourd. Hey, guys.
Hey. I was a bit excited on my name being called. I said hey too early. Sorry.
He's a premature hater.
It's okay. That's okay. We did not go over that in our little confab before the show. Welcome, guys. And just until our listeners get a sound for your voice, would you just announce yourself? Just say your name before you speak just a couple times, just until we get a handle on who everybody is. And mostly it's just for me. Hi guys, how's it going?
Really good, actually. It's Claudius, by the way. We ate some really good Korean food, so that was really delicious. It's from a place called Soul.
That's a good idea. You guys are all together recording.
Yeah, we figured it'd be easier to say, and the quality will be better for you guys.
Yeah, no, absolutely. We appreciate it. Yeah, we've been, this is our 6th or 7th, Chris, quarantine podcast. So we've all been doing it. We record from a studio all together. But now we're doing it from home.
Yeah, I think it's working out pretty good. We're recording with Zencastr, and there's other options out there, but this seems to be working out pretty okay for us. And yeah, I'm actually quite impressed, really, with the sound quality and the way it's all set up here. So it's helped quite a bit. It's unfortunate that we can't record back in the old studio, but this is working just fine for now. So, speaking of which, I don't want to continuously get into conversations about the quarantine. I think we're all kind of we're used to it now. But with that being said, what have you been up to, Matthew, with the quarantine, and how's that going for you? I know you're working, and if you're not doing that, your everyday life, how's that kind of working out for you?
Oh, it's going great. I have not left my house in 377 days.
Feels like.
No, I do. I go to work just about every day. I work at Starbucks, which is very exciting. I'm highly caffeinated all the time. And this week I got a customer compliment. I was taking orders at the drive-through box. I'm like, hello, welcome to Starbucks. And this guy told me, like, hey, you should do something with your voice, like, for work. You have an excellent voice. And I was like, do you think I should be on the radio? And he said, no, you should do children's cartoons.
Okay. That's such a very exact thing. So specifically children's cartoons?
Specifically children's cartoons. It reminded me, I used to roast myself as part of my stand-up I used to say, like, people tell me I have the face for radio, but the voice for a blog. So that's an old joke I used to tell. So that man, I was like, get out of my drive-thru. I was like, you get out of here. You're not allowed to come up here and be mean to me. Here's your coffee, sir.
I used to work at Starbucks as well, and I did work in the drive-through window. And I work at a 24-hour Starbucks, so it got, late night, third shift, it got to be a little boring, so I had to entertain myself. And what I would do, and luckily I did not get fired because of it, is I would just mess with the people that were buying the coffee. Not a good idea, but I'd use different voices. So I'd say, hello, welcome to Starbucks. And then I'd be like, this is Professor Xavier. How can I take your order? Or what so I would use like the different names of X-Men characters, thinking that maybe they wouldn't pick up on it, So, and then I'd use the voices sometimes, or I would tell them to pull up to the second window. There's only one window, that kind of thing.
Oh yeah, that's a good one. That's folks from Epic Reefs. Are you guys coffee fans? Are you coffee addicts? I should say. Chris and I are highly addicted.
Well, this is Jamie, and I am a coffee addict. I'm having to cut back a little bit though, but yeah, I love coffee. Starbucks is my favorite.
Starbucks is my jam.
It's a problem.
Oh, this is Ryan. I don't touch the stuff.
What?
I mean, Starbucks does mean to make a nice, mean cup of hot cocoa, but I don't touch coffee.
This is Claudius, and I feel like I'm on a late night love, like an old school R&B love show. This is Claudius. I love Walks in the Park. I love dark chocolate.
Hot cups of coffee.
Yeah, I love I like cream in my coffee. No, I like coffee. I drink it every morning, but I only take one cup a day. Unlike Jamie taking 6.
That's not true.
That's an addiction.
Jamie, be proud. Be proud. That's I like to think. Oh, what was you?
Go ahead.
I was going to say, this is Chris. I drink coffee every once in a while, always Starbucks, but I'm not addicted like anybody else on this table.
Lies.
What do you mean lies?
Lies. No,
I like to think that, as a barista, we're not paid very much per hour, but when you factor in all the free coffee I drink during my shifts, I'm pretty sure I'm making 6 figures. It's that much coffee.
That's $5 stuff, so yeah.
Yeah, it gets, my total gets up there quickly. I wonder if at the end of the year, they'll give me a receipt for all the free coffee I've had. I wonder if I can just request that.
By the way, you spend this much on coffee, and it's just you kind of a fresh bag.
Oh my god! Yeah.
That's a medium roast.
I have a question for Chris. When you did your Professor X, did you ever try to guess the order so you read their mind?
I wish I had thought about that. No, I didn't. That would have been perfect. I actually, if I could do that and guess correctly, then I think I should be awarded something for my efforts, but no, that never did happen. But we'll see. Maybe at some point.
Yeah.
Yeah,
right.
A couple weeks ago, I did a voice on the show where I think it was explaining that sometimes I answer and pretend to be the other baristas on the clock, and I did the voice of someone who I used to do all the time, but she's since left our store. And one of my coworkers was listening, one of the other baristas, and she was like, I was listening to your podcast and you did the Jillian voice and it made my skin crawl. I remembered how much I hate that voice because it's gross, it's disgusting. I was like, oh, you hate the Jillian voice? But should I not do it all day? I continued to talk like that for another hour.
That's hilarious. Well, hey, that's good news too. At least we have a listener. We know we have
a
at least
listener.
One listener. So.
Shout out to Monse. Monse, if you're listening, I'll see you at work.
All right, guys. It looks like now that we're all, most of us are heavily caffeinated, I think it is time for some nerd news. You guys ready for that?
Yes.
All right, here we go. All right, then Matthew, do you want to kick this one off, or should I go ahead?
You go ahead. You start it.
Okay, so nerd news. This is actually pretty cool. NASA is sending astronauts back to the moon by 2024, and they need your help with designing the perfect space toilet that can operate in both microgravity and lunar gravity. They're calling this the Lunar Lunar Toilet Challenge and hope to attract radically new and different approaches to the problem of human waste capture and containment. I did not know that was a problem. NASA says that they want to encourage the next generation of space explorers, engineers, and scientists. The challenge has a total prize of $35,000 that will be shared among teams submitting the top 3 designs. The deadline for submitting is August 17th, and the winners will be announced in October. You can head on over to www.herox.com/LunarLu to enter the contest. And remember, in space, nobody can hear you poop. So, with this being said, what do you guys think about NASA reaching out to the general public for help with a super fancy space toilet? And are you all excited also for us going back to the moon again in 2024?
This is Ryan. So my first input is they need to change that challenge name. They need to change it back to that /lunar poo one that they have there on the website or whatever it is. That would sound better than the toilet one challenge that they were trying. And yes, I am excited. I mean, going to the moon. Yeah. And obviously about the toilet.
All right. Makes sense.
Claudius, you should design a moon because you know a lot about toilets.
I mean, yeah, I do love, but I think the material should be like something like vibranium. Oh, that'd be pretty dope. Like a bleak black. Yeah. You know what I mean? So
vibranium is black?
Yeah, his arm was black. No,
they just powder coated that.
Oh, they powder coated that. Okay. Well, all right. Well, vibranium, whatever to make it.
It's more of a teal when they.
That's all I have. That's all I have, Ryan. Thanks. Jamie, Chris.
I got nothing.
I'm excited. Let's go back to the moon. And they're clearly missing the opportunity to hire Howard Wolowitz to do the toilet. I mean, he fixed the Russian International Space Station when the Russians were having problems. Come
That's
on.
a real person, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Hey.
I'm just kind of disturbed at the fact that they have an issue. And it hasn't been resolved yet.
Well, and specifically that their wording is like, our issue has been with the capture and containment. Like, wait, who let it out and where did it go? Did we ever catch it? Was it like a short-term containment issue or is it a long-term containment issue? I have lots of questions about this.
They're missing.
Yeah, I would have thought that after all these years, they would have the more or less the shit figured out. Like, get your shit together, NASA.
Like, we can get you there, but you can't take a shit.
Yes. I'm amazed that they haven't figured out the toilet situation, but so they're asking for the general public for help, and then we have this guy named Elon Musk. We can't ask him for help because I guess he's too busy with his new kid, XR3725.1. So I would have thought that they'd talk to Elon Musk and be like, hey, dude, you're kind of smart and stuff. Can you help us with this toilet?
If you're going to talk to any inventor, talk to the Dyson guy, right? I think that's the one you want for a space toilet.
That's pretty genius. Yeah, I like that idea.
Yeah.
All right, I'm on Matthew's team now. I want the Dyson.
I'm just going to say they're missing the perfect opportunity to do a video ad where they're in space and there's a Baby Ruth bar float by.
No.
Need your help.
That's the entire commercial. It's just a Ruth bar going across the screen. It says text. It's like, need your help. Please contact.
If NASA doesn't do it, Baby Ruth needs to do it.
That's payday.
Help, Elon Musk. You're our only hope. No, fun backstory about this. When Chris and I were exchanging articles that we wanted to talk about, the headline to this is like, NASA offers prizes. But I read like, pizzas? I was like, why are they giving away pizzas to the person who designs a toilet? And I was like, wait, maybe that's genius.
I take it.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
What kind of pizza? Yeah, hold on. Let's get on this. We're talking about
Now we're interested.
Actually, we're talking about Marca. Did you see the pizza bowl that
He's opened up a whole debate over here between Jamie and Ryan. They have like an ongoing battle between what needs to be on a pizza.
I mean, obviously barbecue,
Don't start.
ham, and pineapple because that's a pure wine pizza.
Oh, that's a whole other conversation right there.
Another podcast.
Pizza.
I mean, I got that. Let's go.
There's the ones that I don't know if you guys really quick. Let's do a quick poll here. How many people put pineapple on their pizza?
No pineapple.
Chris says yes.
So that's 2 no's and 2 yeses.
Yeah.
It's a no from me.
Yeah, same here. But I've I'll eat it if it's like free and if it's just if someone just hands me a pineapple pizza, I'd be like, well, I'm not going to not eat it, But moving on, let's go ahead and get to our next story. Matthew, you have a story for us.
Well, I don't know how excited you guys are about this. I am so excited. The Westworld showrunners have been hired to make a Fallout TV show based on the game franchise for Amazon.
I saw that this morning, yes.
Yeah, Lisa Joy and Jonathan Nolan, brother of Christopher Nolan, doing a show for Fallout. I'm so excited. I love the Fallout franchise. What do you guys think? Are you guys gamers? We're obviously all TV connoisseurs. I think who isn't in this day and age?
Yeah.
Well, what's your stance on Fallout 76, though? That's my question.
Ooh, yeah, no, I didn't even try. I was like, I'm just going to skip this one. It looks like garbage.
Anthem, and I realized how much that was garbage.
Anthem. Was it really garbage, that guy?
76? Oh, yeah, it still has problems. And they're trying to get more money from people. I mean, this is like earlier in the year.
It's talking
for like servers.
They're trying to get more money.
Yeah, like for you to have a private server, even though they like offered it to you earlier or something like that, they're like trying to get money. The small demographic already. It's like, hey, if you pay this monthly, it's like the iCloud or like Google Drive or something. And they're like, well, you could have this and private and people hacking into those servers.
That's insane. Well, I'm guilty of not playing a lot of Fallout, so I can't say much about it. But I did play like the first Fallout. That was really fun. What about you, Chris?
I have not played any of them, but I'm a fan of post-apocalyptic world, and they did really well in the first season of Westworld that I've seen. So
yeah,
I'm glad it.
Jamie loves Fallout. That's her jam.
Yeah, Jamie's not a gamer.
But Jamie, why? We bonded over coffee.
I'm really weird, and if I sit still too long, I just fall asleep. And gaming is not for me.
This is terrible.
I don't know. I got problems.
What if we set you up with VR, Jamie? What if we get you in VR? That way you have to experience it.
That might would work.
I can get into some VR. Sure.
Chris, did you ever play the Fallout series?
I never did. No, not at all. But I'm interested in checking out the show, especially if it's being done by the same team who worked on Westworld. I did like that show, so I'm down for it. I'm always interested in a new type of show, something to binge watch to kind of get our minds off of our current situation. So yeah, I think it'll be a lot of fun. I don't know really much about the storyline though. Can you fill me in on what Fallout is more or less about? Based on, the title is somewhat obvious, but
Yeah, it's a post-apocalyptic world set in the 22nd century. Everyone, so you could kind of a capitalist. You can pay to, for a space in a Fallout shelter, and then every game kind of tracks, kind of like a different area, like a different city. Like there's New Vegas. Fallout 4 took place in like Boston, essentially. So it kind of takes a different area, kind of explores the region around, and you wake up in a vault after the nuclear war is over, and you have to kind of like explore the world and figure out what to do. Lots of mutant people to fight, and just kind of like, what's the world like after the rich people have all been stowed away in vaults? And then it's always like, plot twist, they were testing on the people in the vaults. So you get like all sorts of, it's just Bethesda games, and I'm glad they're still involved in this show making. They are known for just like deep lore, rich stories. So I'm just excited to see what they do with it.
That sounds really cool. I think that could be a release. So that's going to be did you say it was going to be a movie or a mini-series?
A TV series. And I think they're already signed on for 3 seasons.
Oh, good.
Nice. Well,
or maybe that was no. Sorry, I think I'm conflating two stories that I read. No, they are guaranteed pay though. They're skipping the pilot process, so a pilot will be shot, or full first season will be shot. And yeah, that's exciting.
Awesome. Well, I believe we have 2 more stories to go here, so I'll switch up. I'll go ahead and. Do you mind? Then you have you have a report on it's a segment called Netflix and Nap, correct?
Netflix and Nap, yeah, we got a new segment.
So we're going to get into that here in 1 second. But speaking of entertainment, this was just announced. Walmart is going to have drive-in movie theaters. So with COVID-19 keeping movie theaters shut down for an extended period of time, Walmart has revealed plans to transform their parking lots into drive-in movie theaters in August. So here is the tweet that Walmart sent out. It says, starting in August at select Walmart stores, we're partnering with Tribeca and rolling out the red carpet for drive-in movie premieres, complete with car side service. Stay tuned for more details. See you at the movies, Walmart, drivein.com. And there's no details yet as to what movies they're going to be showing. But like I said, you can go to the web address there and check it out. So with that being said, what do you guys think of the future of going out to see movies? Does it seem like it's going to be mostly drive-in theaters that are going to be resurrected? Or do you think that maybe there will still be some, AMC and Regal Cinemas that are popping up with the indoor movie theater experience?
This is Chris. I personally think that the bigger studios like AMC and Regal are probably going to start falling by the wayside. I think after this, there's going to be a lot of more small, independent kind of theaters that are opening up because it's just a more sustainable model for them to come into it after the fact as opposed to trying to maintain everything through it, in my opinion. I would love to see more drive-in theaters, to be honest, because I think that'd be a real good nostalgia kind of factor for people.
Me too. I think that's so exciting. I want to go to the drive-in movie.
Yeah. This is Ryan. I worked at a movie theater for 5 years, and I worked at a small one, and I think it's cool because AMC and Regal and all that have been kind of killing the smaller theaters. So if it does kind of help, people aren't going to want to go to the big theaters anymore and help out the smaller ones, I'm totally down with that. And drive-in wise, that because there was 2 or 3 in Atlanta, but they shut those down. I think there's only one that works really anymore. So
Starlight, I think, is the main one on Memorial, correct?
Yes, that's the one. So I'm totally down with it, and I think it'd be cool because just need to go out and see movies.
Yeah, honestly. I mean, this is Claudius, sorry. I was telling them today, I missed the movie theater experience because we used to do an older podcast where we would just talk about movies, and we recorded in the lobby, and you'd hear the noises of the lobby and stuff like that. So I think it'd be a different experience to go to a drive-in, but it'd be a good one. So if Walmart has their hearts in the right place and not trying to put people out of business, I think that'd be kind of cool for next year. So yeah, I'm definitely in support of drive-in. What about you guys?
I love this idea. I would totally drive up to a Walmart, and I worry about the light pollution. If you've got a large commercial area, everyone with their signs lit up, can you make a deal with the Target across the street to turn out the lights? Are they going to go get a spotlight and shine it on your screen? So.
Yeah, that's a smart point. Are they going to work out deals with people, or are you going to have to go to Waleska?
Yeah, it's going to be the rural out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, or super south or something like that.
Yeah, that's a good point, Matt, because I didn't even think about the light pollution. So maybe.
Yeah, we actually talked. It's funny. Our last guest, we ended up talking about drive-in theaters kind of randomly. I don't remember how that came up. Do you, Chris, with Angela? But I shared a story about. I grew up in Las Vegas, and there was one drive-in theater left in Las Vegas, and the light pollution was so bad that you couldn't see the movies. So
yeah,
that was.
Oh, go ahead.
It's a bright city. They got a lot of lights. So.
Do they?
Yeah, just a couple, just a few, and they don't really turn them off ever. Extraordinary power bills. So,
yeah, that's a good point to bring up. I don't know how they're gonna going to do that with the light pollution. It pretty much just will make it obsolete. Like you can't really, if you can't see the screen, you can't see the movie. So I don't know, because, Starlight does it great because they're, it's off of Memorial, but it's all the way in the back. It takes almost forever just to get back to where they have all the screens. And once you're there, it's fine. There's no lights whatsoever interfering with the movie screen. So I guess we'll wait and see, but it's a solution to a problem that we have, because I would love to go see a movie, and that is one of the main things that I've often done prior to our situation now, is go see a movie every once in a while. And it's okay, we can watch movies on online, but it's not quite the same thing having to rent a movie for $20, watching it online. I don't know, it doesn't really do it for me.
I was also going to say, what's their situation? Because since everything's kind of shut down and no productions are going on, are they just going to play whatever's left in the bank for Hollywood and just do that, or are they going to do retro movie nights?
They're doing retro. Well, I don't know about Walmart, but I know that a lot of the Plaza Theater here in Atlanta, they're actually doing it. They have a pop-up drive-in movie theater experience, which is pretty cool. They do that on the weekends, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And so they're doing a lot of retro movies. I think they're showing Ghostbusters, and I think that is what a lot of these places are doing. They're showing some older films, and because really the only upcoming movies we have on the slate so far is Christopher Nolan's Tenet, and then what else? I don't know. That's the only movie I can think of that's coming up pretty soon. So, we'll see how it goes.
Once they condemned Trolls World Tour to an at-home release, I was just done with Hollywood.
Yeah, what's up with that?
I mean, come on. Anna Kendrick and Justin Timberlake, a home release? Wow.
What about Scoobs, though? Scoobs was a home release, too.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. I was going to, I did think about, because there was, a big push to get people to rent it, on the night it was released.
Yeah,
for that one, a big social media campaign. So I thought about doing that, and then I totally forgot.
It's on HBO Max now, so you can watch it for free with all everything else. I think, the movies that they're releasing for streaming, a lot of them are kid-friendly movies and things like that. So it makes me wonder, if you do a drive-in, the very first showing is going to be a kids movie, and then after that, you can show whatever you want to, and you'll have to do 2 a.m., 3 a.m. You can show Rocky Horror Picture Show, and you can watch all these other things that you because you want to worry about kids being up because they got to go to bed.
Well, speaking of at-home entertainment, Matthew, let's go ahead and kick off Netflix and not kick off. We've done this before, but it's been a while. Your segment, Netflix and Nap. You have a show that you just watched recently on Netflix, and I'd like to hear more about it.
Yeah, so quick run through my Netflix Nap series. I try and binge a whole show. Whatever episode I fall asleep on, that's your rating. That out of how many potential episodes there were. So that's how the system works.
He did not.
And yeah, because I have terrible sleep habits. I don't ever go to sleep. I just fall asleep while doing other things. So I binged Space Force, and it ranked a 7 out of 10. I made it through 7 half-hour episodes before I fell asleep. It was pretty good. I was invested. There's some. I like a show with it's episode 1. They're here's our goal. And then you spend all season trying to get there. And it's yes, I appreciate that. I know what I'm working towards. I thought I'm not always the biggest Steve Carell fan, but I thought he did a great job. I was thoroughly impressed with him. And John Malkovich is amazing. So how do you go wrong there? And my most disappointing actor in it was Ben Schwartz, because I love him. But he played a allowed to curse version of his same character from Parks and Recreation. He basically played John Ralphio, who drops the F-bomb. Absolutely. And doesn't sing. I'm that's the whole charm of John Ralphio. And where's Mona Lisa? I had so many questions. So, did you guys watch Space Force? What did you think?
I can probably tell you I'm the only one in this group, and this is Chris. I watched the entire 10-episode season in one day, the whole season. I will say you got to go back and watch the last 3 episodes. It ends on such a cliffhanger. Definitely, I feel like they should have given it more episodes to flesh out the story and the characters a little bit, because there's a lot of things that felt real forced. Like the relationship between Space Force, like the relationship between one of the astronauts and one of the ground crew members. I felt that was a little forced. But overall, I really, really enjoyed it, and they have a lot of stuff to explain the second season, like why is Steve Carell's wife in prison?
Wow, spoiler.
Wow.
Yeah.
First episode. If you don't make it to the first episode, you ain't going to watch the series. So
you're going to watch the series.
No,
it's Lisa Kudrow. And it's just never explained. Like, nope, she's just in prison. And it's like, oh, cool, okay.
Like people
and they like reference it.
People ask me, like, if they just missed, like, we watched this, did we just miss it? And they're like, no, we didn't tell you. And there's like people trying to put the clues together, and like, because of the length of time she's in jail and what happens, there's like a whole bunch of things they could do very funny in the next season. And
it does end on quite the cliffhanger. I ended up, I binged it on my own just while falling asleep, and then turned around and watched it again with my dad over a few days. It was good. So like back to back binged it. It was good. I was impressed. I wasn't sure I was going to like it, so that's why I didn't do this. I didn't watch it as soon as it came out. I gave it about a month to kind of like let the reviews trickle in, and just from friends and see if they advised it to me. But yeah, I'm excited for season 2. I can't wait to see what happens. Because it does end on quite the cliffhanger. So it's a good one. It's a keeper. And that's now you guys are you've been introduced to my Netflix and Nap scoring system. So now you know.
Best scoring system I've ever heard.
Yeah, that's a good start.
I love the concept. I think it's a great way to rate the quality of a show. Is if it's going to make you fall asleep, then maybe not so great. I don't know, counting sheep. You can do a whole system of like a rating system. Like you give 5 stars, you can do like 5 sheep.
There it is. It has yielded some false negatives, though. Like, remember Lock and Key? I really liked that show, but I was really tired the night I started it. Technically, Lock and Key earned a 1 out of 10, but it deserved better than that.
That's an unfairing system on that one, man.
That first episode is slow. It's the slowest of all of them, but I did like the show. And once I like woke up, I was like, I need to finish the show. Like, it was like the first thing I did in the morning.
In your Batman voice like that?
What?
In your Batman voice? Because that was like a Batman voice you just did.
Sometimes, strange voices will just creep out of me. I'm also chugging a cold brew, and it is 8:30 at night. So
that's the best time.
But hey, you know what? Matthew, thank you for that, and I think that pretty much wraps up Nerd News. We're going to go ahead and take a quick little promo break, and we shall return with our interview with the Epic Briefs podcast. We'll be right back.
I'm Brittany Vitrino.
And I'm Martha Bartlett. We've been nerds since day one, and we love to talk.
And now we're your hosts of But First, Let's Talk Nerdy.
Come listen if you like anything from comics, anime, video games, sci-fi, and even history.
Just sit back, relax, even join us with a drink in hand, because we'll have one in ours too, and come talk nerdy with us every Tuesday.
We are now a proud member of the ESO Network, and you can download wherever you like to listen.
See you next Tuesday.
What's new on the 42 cast? Let's ask my co-hosts.
We're talking about Doctor Who,
comic book shows and movies,
and we're talking about all things Star Trek,
and so much more.
Check us out on Google Play, Stitcher Radio, and iTunes.
It's only on the 42 cast, your ultimate answer to fandom, geekiness, and everything.
So Nathan, when are we finally talking Babylon 5?
All right, and we're back. Welcome back to the NerdLanta podcast. What's up, everyone?
Hey. Still hanging out.
Matthew.
Yeah.
I was very confused about what's happening right there. I was like, I'm not the guest.
I'm just hello to everybody. We are here with Epic Briefs podcast, and thank you guys for coming on and doing our little show here.
Thank you for having us. This is exciting. I'm glad to be here with fellow nerds. This is Claudius again. No. Yeah, I'm really glad to be here, though. Thank you guys for having us. Seriously.
Yeah, we'll reintroduce everybody. We have Claudius, and then Jamie, and Chris, and Ryan, all from Epic Briefs podcast. And can you explain what it is, what your format is for your podcast?
Okay, our format is actually grown a lot since we first started. I guess a quick rundown is like we just started doing a lot like the Nerdist, where we meet every week and just talk about stuff that we're watching or games that we're playing and whatever. It's just kind of like a meet and hang out, record kind of thing. And then it grew into us actually making it more of like a guest interview type of show. So we tried to cover a lot of people in entertainment, people from like voice actors, and we had a few producers on our show and narrators. Amber Nash was on our show. That was really cool. We had her on a couple years ago. And then also we, much like you guys, we like to go over like stuff that's newsworthy to us. So we discuss a little bit of that on our podcast too, like, like wherever nerdy news we like or whatever content we're consuming at the time, and kind of share it with people so they can kind of, if they don't know about it, they can be exposed to it also. So yeah, and it's so weird though, because like our show was very it was experimental as it grew, because we did like a narrative podcast episode, and that was really fun. So it's funny that when people ask me that now, because we started in 2014, and podcasts have changed a lot in the last 7-ish years or so. So it's like we're trying to retool it a little bit and kind of focus it in a little bit more, so it's not so like a random, you know what I mean? But before that was the thing, right? You just hang with your friends and that's a podcast, But so yeah, I think that's some of our podcasts. You got anything else to add to it?
I think you covered it.
Yeah, now we're kind of branching off and doing little segment things.
Yeah,
like the plan.
Yeah, we have plans.
Yeah, we have plans.
Yeah, we do have plans to do individual shows about stuff that we like. Like I want to do a scary narrative podcast. I think Chris wants to do a more focused in comic book podcast, and Ryan loves food and he wants to talk about food reviews, and Jamie has something planned, but it's not too whittled down yet to talk about really. But so yeah, it's definitely a growing thing, and it's developed a lot since we started. Mm-hmm. And we're just learning as we go, to be honest with you,
Having fun.
Yeah, definitely.
So how have you guys handled recording during COVID-19 with guest interviews and things? Have you guys just kind of gone into a hiatus, or what are you guys doing?
When COVID hit, we were going to take a break, but we figured that's probably high time to give people content and entertainment. Yeah. So we did a 6-week run of weekly, we call it Coronacation, so quote unquote celebration episodes, where we would have some of our friends on and talk to them about how they're getting through Corona and how they're dealing with it, and the things they're doing to pass the time, and skills they're working on, or just extra people they're talking to. Maybe they're talking to their parents more, maybe their parents are dodging them because they're calling them too much. But so we try to do a weekly show with a different theme within Epic Briefs. One, we had favorite soundtracks, movie soundtracks, and
TV show themes,
and we have people answer just random ass questions. I think one week we asked Chris, I think, if he would consider drinking disinfectant. He was on our podcast. Kristopher was on our podcast that week, and we asked him if he would drink disinfectant.
Yeah, what cleaning product he would use or whatever.
Oh yes. What did I say? I forgot. Did I say bleach? I don't know. Pine Sol. That's right, because it has a great smell. It has a wonderful smell, but probably not a great taste. But one of those things.
Yeah, but I guess to mostly answer your question, we definitely kept it remote and just try to do different themes for every episode, so it didn't get boring.
This is the first time we've seen each other.
Yeah.
Yeah. It is the first time I've seen
all four of us, yeah.
Since last December, I think.
Oh, reunion! I love it.
But yeah,
I feel like a family therapist that brought you all together. No.
We're gonna put all our problems out. Grievances right now.
Yeah, we're thankful that we use Skype and we tried out Zoom, but Skype I think is what we've used a lot when we interview people anyway. Just because we interview people that aren't always in the state of us.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
Skype's definitely a good tool to use.
Yeah, I like Zencastr now too.
Yeah. And I think one of the things we were trying to focus on with our Chronication celebration too is just trying to keep positivity in it, because a lot of people are having a hard time with the quarantine and not being positive.
Yeah, pretty much.
So
yeah, trying to offer them some good content, so just kind of laugh and chill with us for a little bit.
Uplifting and fun.
Yeah, and we had recorded a couple of episodes prior to everything going down, so we were able to get some long, good interviews in that have been able to be released over the last few weeks. Like we had one of the guy from Let's Read podcast. He was on there, Joel. And then we've got another one coming up, but we've kind of pushed it off a little bit just because we kind of want to, let the focus be what it is right now, and then we're kind of do it again before we go on vacation. Or not vacation, a little break. So, being able to record a few episodes in one day definitely helps so we can keep the content going without having to try to coordinate with people.
Yeah, definitely planning was huge. So that helped a lot too. And Jessica McAvoy, I think you're talking about from No Sleep Alone too. Yeah, it was fun. We just kind of like planned ahead and try to stay as active as we could. But you get burnt out though after a while. I was like, we need a break, and then we'll come back.
So your schedule for recording is, you said it's once a week, and then you record like several times in one day. How does the recording sessions usually work out for you guys?
Oh, to clarify, we're just doing the weeklies for the Chronication celebration ones, and we do it we release twice a month. Similar to you guys, we do we're dropping an episode on the same day next week, so which is kind of cool. The way the recording works out is we usually try to at least schedule 3 people if it's like an interview, and we do it back to back, I guess, on a Saturday or something if they're all available, or we can break it up into different weekends. But we try to keep a nice little bank of interviews, and then I can have time to work on it and make it sound good and edit out some things that doesn't need to be there and things like that. And I'm really big into sound design, so I love making things sound cool.
Yeah, Claudius makes all the magic happen.
Magic. Go just slap together on a timeline.
Check out that narrative episode we did. He did a lot of sound design on that one. It's really cool.
That was really funny. I like that. But yeah,
I want to touch on really quick because you had mentioned Claudius is sort of I guess more or less the backbone of the podcast, or you have structured it. Is that safe to say?
Yeah, that's 100%. Yeah.
With that being said, I already know the story behind this, but I do want to ask because our listeners do not know. But how did you come across the name of your podcast? I know Claudius had something to do with that, right?
Oh yeah.
I'll have one of you guys. I've been talking too much, so one of you guys tell the story.
You want to tell it, Jamie?
All right. Well, we were hanging out one day. It was Chris, Claudius, and I. And we're really close friends. And he was changing clothes. Well, it sounds weird if, I don't know. Anyways. So
naked in front of people.
He was not naked. But we were just trying to come up with the name of the podcast. And Chris was wearing a Smurfs shirt that said Epic Fail. And Claudius was wearing some boxers. And we just put the 2 words together. It was epic and briefs. And yeah, because at first we were the podcast is going to be short. Not really. So we're it can have a double meaning. But yeah, so epic briefs. And then they came up with the idea of briefs wearing a cape and flying through a wall, and was Jamie, draw this. And it was a group effort for that too.
It's very much like an origin story, like the George Glass moment in the Brady Bunch movie. It's like you look at I see the character POV, sees the word epic on the Smurf shirt, pivots, hands, sees the underwear. It's like epic Braves.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, totally.
I don't know, George Glass at our school.
Like Claudius was saying earlier, we started out. Claudius and I were at the gym, and we were talking about like how we would do different Marvel movies and things different. And so that's when we kind of came up with the idea of doing the podcast. And so at the beginning, it was very centric on like superheroes and the TV shows and things like that. So yeah, that's part of the briefs was just kind of that like Superman with underwear. Yeah.
This is Chris, right?
This is Chris, yes. Right.
So you're literally walking around in this world with the name Chris Evans, talking about how you want to do different superhero movies.
That's awesome.
I'm just saying, if I started writing like we were talking about writing down like some of these stories and sending them to like people, and be like, this is how you should do the next movie or whatever. I mean, I'm not going to say I'm that Chris Evans, but maybe the name will hold some weight.
We'll get further.
You just need like a Chris Evans at Gmail and hope people get confused. That's all it is.
I talk about like sign in pictures, and then if somebody comes after me, be like, I didn't say I was that Chris Evans.
See, that's just messed up.
You can go to the conventions when they open up next year and be like, yes, I am Chris Evans. I didn't say specifically which one, but I will certainly give you an autograph, no problem.
Yeah, exactly. I'm researching a role.
So how did the four of you all meet?
Claudius and I actually met at Blockbuster. We worked there together.
I love this.
It was back in 2005. And then Chris and I met at church. And I happened to have some tickets for Rain.
Oh, come on, it was Rain, yes.
Yeah, like the Beatles cover band type thing, tribute band. And the two of them agreed to go, so that's where they met. And they became friends and kind of like Chris just like kind of dumped me for Claudius. And he's like, oh, we're not really that close anymore, but Claudius and I, we're going to be BFFs. And then Ryan and Claudius went to school together.
It's fair to say.
Yeah,
sure. Fair to say. We went to community college together.
Media production type school.
We went to school for video production. We met in, was it editing? Yeah, it was editing. That's the class that we met.
Yeah, it's like video editing.
That's kind of why we started the podcast too. Like, you wanted to learn how to edit stuff and do audio. So
yeah, that was like a nice exercise.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, guys, if we're like really honest, we didn't know we were going to do this podcast for this long, and we didn't think people would ever listen. We just did the thing and put it out. You know what I mean? It was just like one of those things, and people actually started listening. They were like, "Oh crap, we should probably take this a bit more seriously."
I mean, honestly, when we first started, like, and they would stand in the parking lots talking about movies, I was like, "Oh my God, stop talking, save it for the podcast." Because I would just be like waiting in the car, like, "Can we please go home?"
Get me out of here.
I'm like, "Why are we still here?"
I know, right?
I am. I'm like the lamest one.
Drinking that Gatorade.
Just because we talked about the movie longer than the movie was doesn't mean anything.
You're like just standing in the freaking cold parking lot, like late at night.
Okay, you're right.
I'm like, guys, it's cold. I want to go home.
If it wasn't for this, we wouldn't be on there with Lancet right now.
I know. You thank me because I kept telling you to save it for the podcast.
We never saved it for the podcast.
We always talk. We never went back to it.
Wait, when do we do podcast?
Yeah. Did we start recording already? Are we on a podcast?
Oh, man.
Hey, what's up, everybody?
Hey, Claudius.
So you guys have been recording your podcast, you said, for about 6 or 7 years. What are some things that you've learned within that time? That's a good amount of time to, to learn some things. And what can you share with us?
We learned that you can have a side conversation if the guest is boring, so we're hoping y'all are not doing that. We had a guest on one time, and Claudia, Jamie was listening to the guy talking, and me and Claudius just kind of went to the side and started talking about something else.
Oh my God! That's
Oh no!
5 minutes conversation. We're hoping y'all aren't doing that right now, but we
I can confirm we are not.
That's hilarious.
If anything, that's something you shouldn't do, Chris.
Yeah, don't ever do that. That was early Epic Bruce podcast days. It's not now. We're grown. We're in our 20s then.
So don't have a siding conversation with your guests.
I think I fell asleep there.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh God.
But we got better.
But honestly, what we have learned though is like it's definitely like a slow burn if you don't have that celebrity power to push your podcast, especially now when everyone's popping out a podcast. Organization and scheduling, which I'm horrible about, helps a lot. So anyone trying to start a podcast, definitely, make sure you have some kind of like pre-plan. Kind of helps, If you don't know if you're like going to do it or you just want to try it for fun, there's like a lot of free hosting, like Anchor FM is a free host. You can try that, so you're not pouring your money into something that you're just gonna, that you're not sure if you're gonna continue. So you can do a podcast for like like pretty cheap, like $50 or so, $60, get some mics and stuff like that. And now with COVID, you can definitely talk to people on conference calls and things like that. So it helps. So we learned that there's a cheaper way to do it. Do your research on equipment and mics and things like that, and know what kind of mics you're getting. Because
we've learned a lot about equipment.
Yeah,
too.
some mics pick up a crap ton of noise, and that's just terrible. So you don't want that.
Speaking of mics, I do want to just really quick, I want to say, thank you, Claudius, because you actually are the one that you recommended the mics that I purchased. So we now have 3 of these Audio Technica mics, and so I appreciate you recommending that. It's working out pretty good. So
I'm glad. Yeah, I was glad to help. So anything you guys need help with, let me know. I'm definitely down to help you guys. And sorry, I'm going to cut you off. Someone going to say anything? Okay, sorry. What else have we learned, guys?
Like not to breathe on the mic.
Yeah, not to breathe on the mic. Like stop trying to pound your fingers into the table.
I would say that was probably my worst one. I used to just like touch the table way too much. I was the worst.
And like laugh away from the mic. Don't laugh into the mic.
I think also like when you're doing interviews, like try not to be so nervous. Like they're just people.
And I'm guilty of being anxious.
But also like do your research and like know what you're going to talk to them about if you're asking questions and stuff. It's good to be prepared.
Yeah, definitely.
I think Claudius does a good job with like creating like show notes and rundowns and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean Claudius does like almost everything. but yeah, I think we've learned a whole lot. Over the like 6 years.
Wait, hold up, Jen, do you know how to wrap a cord properly?
Yeah.
Okay.
We're gonna test you out first.
Excuse me.
I can set up and put away equipment like a boss.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so she just
like
volunteered.
A boss.
Okay, so
Hey,
Jamie,
I do it all the time.
Jamie, how do you wrap a cable?
I'll show you later, Ryan.
You can't really talk about that on
Right,
mic.
it's not a description. That's a good point.
And also like marketing is like huge.
Yeah.
So social media, like pick a few of them and stick with it. You know what I mean? Sometimes
Have templates. Create templates for yourself.
Templates.
Make it easy.
Yeah.
Don't overthink it.
You guys have some great templates. NerdLanta has some really great templates, and the audiograms are great too. So we're gonna take it.
I was just gonna say, starting out, just you don't have to. I know you want as you evolve to get everything down pat and be professional, but the biggest thing is just do it.
Yeah.
Like when we started out, we just recorded because we kept saying, "Oh, we need to talk about this. We need to write this down. We need to talk," and we didn't for the longest time. And then when we finally did it, we found our voice and we found our niche. So I think the biggest thing for people is they're scared to do it.
Right.
Just do it. If you're gonna be talking to your friends, just hit record on the microphone because like we recorded like the first 5 or 6 episodes. We had our mic and we thought it was recording and it wasn't even doing anything. We were recording with the mic on the laptop. It sounded fine. I mean, we've improved as we've gone over the years, but like if you just wanted to do it, just force yourself to do it. Just get the content out.
Honestly, I think that's with most things in life. Like, don't overthink it. Just do it.
Yeah, it helps to just kind of get out there and do your thing. But I think that's the base things we've learned in the podcast.
And build a good support team because like there's times when we're sitting here and we're like, we really want to record, and then like one of us will be like, yeah, we need to be consistent. And it's not always the same person that's got that energy to do it, but it kind of makes everybody else step up. So having a good support team definitely helps.
And it definitely helps you build a network. But I think if we didn't have Epic Briefs, we would have never met Kristopher and you now, Matthew. So, I mean, it helps us to meet people and get acquainted with different kind of people. Yeah, I mean, learn how to talk to different people.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely a lot of things. I mean, the list can go on, obviously. I'm so talking. I'm probably shut the hell up right now. But, yeah.
I think it's pretty good advice, especially, networking does help quite a bit. And, so that's awesome. Matthew, do you have any questions?
I'm really sad that you said the greatest thing you've learned from podcasting was about your friendship. I was really hoping for a sentimental close.
Just
something really sweet. We could all group hug.
Oh, no.
No, I'm just...
I will say
we're the worst kind of people.
We've had that. I will say, like...
This is more of my friends, Matthew. Just hang out and
you shut the hell up. Shut your mouth.
To take out my anger on Chris.
Yeah. She absolutely does.
Yeah, we just use each other and then we're done after.
And I will say, like, I was going through a rough patch last year. Had a lot of personal things happening, and like the podcast. And yes, we were friends before that, but the podcast gave me an outlet to like get things going through. So. Yeah, that sentimental ending. We're all better friends, even though we fight each other all the time.
I mean, our friends
take you down, Ryan.
Seeing and hate. And that's what
I was going to say one thing positive, but thank you for saying something. So we don't. I love you too.
Oh my God.
I'm going to
group hug. Right around.
Well, I guess the way we always like to end is we'd like to get people to kind of shout out where we can find you guys. I know you guys are on Instagram, Twitter. What are these handles? What is the website that we've got? What's going on? Where can everyone find you?
All right, Ryan, go.
Okay. You can find me on Instagram or Twitter at Jubaka90. Find me there. Or on epicbriefs.com.
Yeah.
Epic Briefs Podcast.
Epicbriefspodcast.com.
Another site. We're not affiliated with.
Well, Briefly Epic is my other podcast that I will tell you about. Remember?
Yeah. So you can find us all at epicbriefspodcast.com. We're on Instagram under Epic Briefs Podcast. We're on Twitter under Epic Briefs Podcast.
Yeah.
PBCST.
Because podcast wouldn't fit.
Yeah. And we're on Facebook under Epic Briefs Podcast. So everywhere under Epic Briefs Podcast, really.
And all podcast apps are like all over.
And Spotify.
Yeah, Spotify, Apple Podcasts.
Yeah.
Stitcher, Deezer, TuneIn.
I don't really post much on my personal, so I'm not going to share.
Oh, okay. Mine is Claudius1105 on Instagram if you guys want to follow me. That'd be nice. I'm really lonely, so please follow.
I guess I'll share. If you want to follow me, I do draw occasionally. So Jamie1086 on Instagram.
Kurt?
Yeah, I'm on Instagram.
You didn't know you were.
Oh
my God.
Calling him out.
Hold on. Hold on for 1 second. Matthew and Chris Evans didn't know his Instagram handle. Like,
Chris Evans, 3 of them.
Come on, dude.
And he doesn't use any of them.
I really don't. I do every once in a while, but you can find me. I'll give you 2 of them. The other one's like more.
Just 2.
I am White Lantern Hal on bite me. My other one is which has my Deadpool wizard pop up as my picture is Castiel.Ragnarok.
What about the CLE one?
Well, CLE 7848 was the first one I have. It has a picture of me.
That's the only one I ever tagged you.
That's the only
You
one
never tag me in anything.
I always tag you on that one.
You tag me.
Dude, that's the only thing we tag you in. Check your Instagram.
No, you tag me. I agree with you. You tag me.
Oh,
but Jamie's always like, I can't tag you. For some reason I can tag you. I can't tag you. I can't tag you. Yeah, sorry. One of our buddies, Kate, is sitting on the couch and she's just now chiming in.
So we all agree CLE one is the one we use.
Yes. I don't use any of them, so that's all of it. And then if you want to find me on Facebook, you know my name. Have fun.
Good luck.
Good luck.
Do you want to add me on there? But find me through the Epic Briefs. We just update our pictures and y'all. We got lots of that. Yeah, I got really cool pictures, and I got lots of. Everybody thinks like we're dropping like albums. Pictures, so.
Yeah, we got pictures.
Oh yeah, because Ryan took some really cool pictures.
I want Matthew on my mixtape. So I already called him. Sorry, guys.
You gonna call Christopher on your team?
I mean, Chris could
you gonna take half the team. Wow.
You're missing something with that, Chris. It could be the two Chris.
Yeah, Chris and Chris.
Yeah, but he spells it with a K.
I know, but that's how you differentiate.
Right? Yeah,
It's like crisscross over here.
Chris, I got you. I got you, Chris. I got you. We'll drop an album.
Crisscross because it's also Chris.
Yeah, my parents actually named me, it's a boring story, but they named me after Kristopherson, the country singer / movie actor. And so it's just been, interesting having a name spelled with K. But anyways, I don't know why I felt the need to explain that, but I guess
now we all know.
On that note, I guess, thank you very much, Epic Briefs Podcast. You guys have been amazing, and I'm looking forward to talking to you guys more, and maybe hanging out at some point when we figure out this whole situation with COVID-19. Yeah. But definitely for people listening to this podcast, please check out Epic Briefs Podcast, www.epicbriefspodcast.com. And do we have anything else to sign off with? Matthew, do you want to say anything else?
No.
Wow, he's like, I'm over.
No, what is it? No, you said it all. And I was going to say, stop listening to our podcast right now, because our podcast comes out. You should be listening to this on July 8th. Stop listening to this immediately and go listen to Epic Briefs, because their new episode comes out today as well. So, yeah, and thank you guys so much for being here. You guys have been really fun.
Thanks.
Thank you, guys. That has been NerdLanta.
That's all, folks.
Thank you for being a friend. Travel down the road and back again. Your heart is true, you're a pal and a confidant.
This has been a broadcast of the ESO Network. Be part of the crew and help support our shows by donating to our ESO Patreon or by shopping through Amazon.com or the TeePublic store, which can all be found at www.esonetwork.com. The ESO Network, your station for all things geek.